Was there a sexual frisson?
I think
it sounds as though there, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just drawing. I mean, key tip writers, subtext.
Yeah.
I'm reading it here. Maybe I'm inferring something that wasn't there.
No, there was on his part.
Oh, right. Right. Excellent. Did you yield?
Not yet.
Okay. Keep it going. Keep that relationship boiling. Make it seem
I've not
as though it
paid
could
you
happen.
enough yet.
And then when you've got your career going, say, I'm sorry, it's not my thing.
So I think the other tip that I would give to
anyone... Well, there we go. Oh, sorry. I thought there was another one.
Is to follow every lead, because you don't know where they'll end up. So don't just sit at home writing. Get out there and meet anybody that can be a loose connection in this world. When I was starting out, amidst all my rejections, I knew of a bloke who went out with a girl who I used to share a house with, and I went and met him, and he showed me some stuff that he was doing, asked me to write a script for it on an amateur level with no money, and that he was developing something with somebody else who was Matt here, some sketches about taxi drivers, and that led to me meeting Matt and getting work that way. So just follow every tenuous lead, look at all the competitions on the writer's room and Comedy Guide and things like that, and just go for everything.
That is the story of what happened to David. It's through kind of perseverance and getting in touch with people that are doing other things in comedy. So David worked with this director guy, Jason Wingard, who's made lots of comedy shorts, and Peter Slater, who was doing and still does a lot of live work. Is a fantastic character comic, and I went to see a show. Peter was in it. I thought he was great. We saw these. He showed me this film that he'd made with Jason about taxi drivers, and then I met David, who'd been helping with them with the writing, and he helped to sort of produce a bunch of sketches. And because of that, I read David's script. Maybe if he hadn't put that work forward, I wouldn't have got. I wouldn't have read his script, because I already knew he was capable of writing funny stuff. So then I read it and thought, this is actually something I could develop. So it kind of stemmed from there. So it's a good way to start, whether you're a writer or a performer.
Excellent. Good. Well, I've got a question here. This is from the internet, from someone texted in, Sheila Pentecost. She says, what font is more likely to get you commissioned? I've always used Garamond, and I have yet to have a single script commissioned. That's for David there as well. We'll go for James. James, is there a particular style? Basically, we're looking at presentation. Does that matter?
Handwritten, green biro.
Is that good?
Yeah, just any scraps of paper you've got.
Excellent. Yeah. On post-it notes with marker pen.
Well, in terms of format, I think I'm no expert, but people have always said as long as it's legible, as long as you can tell what's happening, you're kind of all right. But I always use American screenplay format just because.
Well, there is quite a good download on the Writers' Room website, I think. Is it Script Smart Gold 2? That wasn't a rhetorical question. That was genuinely wasn't sure. But have a look. Let me know. But that's so format. So it's got to look good. Is that right? Face validity. Look at it. It looks right. If it just appears handwritten, do you think, well, no way?
Yeah, definitely. I think it can put some people off if it's not set out properly, particularly if they don't know who you are. You're much more likely to have a script read if it looks professionally presented. The same in any job or career. You want to create a good impression, so make sure it's set out properly and spelt correctly. So you want everything in italics and bold, basically.
What if the character has issues with literacy?
The character?
I suppose if it's spoken, it still needs to be...
There are writers.
It's a difficult one. It's difficult.
I don't always worry about spelling, because there's lots of dyslexic people who are funny. And I genuinely do get scripts.
You mean you laugh at dyslexic people, essentially?
No.
I mean, a lot of people do, but I think it's wrong.
Yeah, you're right. But it's good if it's sort of laid out properly, and do use your spell check even if you are dyslexic.
Okay. Well, it was a strange diversion there. We won't maybe bother with Bebo again. Okay, so James, you've made films and you've had quite a bit of success and a lot of broadcast stuff. Have you had a similar trajectory? A lot of the thing we're getting here is perseverance. Be quite flagrant with who you mix with. Be nice. Maybe mislead people, and then you might get a foot in the door. There's no set path. Is that your same experience, or did you just knock on a door, or just say, or did someone say, would you like to do this? Yeah, great, in you go.
I just started making films for fun. That was the thing. I was quite old when I started. Quite old.
Well, you're very fresh.
Thank you.
It's not relative.
But yeah, I just started making films for a laugh about 8 years ago. I was 34, never been to film school, I'd be funny on a part-time basis by myself, but never thought about broadcasting it. And we just started making films because we had a little video camera. And what I would say is you learn so much about writing if you actually make what you're writing. And it's relatively easy now to either find you can make films on your iPhone, you can make films on pretty much anything. Make those films, put them together, and if they're no good, don't show them to anybody, just make another one. And the more films you make, the more you learn about what makes you laugh, and the more you learn about writing, basically, about writing for the edit, writing for film. Just make films, and in the first couple of years I was doing it, I made about 60, 70 films, and I'd only ever show people about 8 of those. But each disastrous film taught me stuff about what not to do, and to be funny.
So you say make your own. I mean, how many filmmakers have we got? Just show of hands. Just how many people that make their own gear. So we've got that. Okay. Writers now, just people that just write. Okay. People who are performers. Okay. People who've wandered in and just didn't know what it was. And yeah, that's all right. Excellent. Yeah. Journalists. Okay, so that's interesting. And in the age of the internet, YouTube, etc., and also we can get a flip camera now, whatever. You can make your own stuff quite easily. We're afforded that without having to have a massive expenditure. So there is an element. But that does mean there's a lot of competition. Is that an issue? Because all these people are trying to get the work out there. I mean, do those people that are writers alone, are they seeking people to film their stuff? Or I mean, does anyone in the room here like to say their experience? They've got a writer. Who's a writer who's struggling to find someone to commit their work to screen? Oh, yeah, gentleman there.
And I thought.
So you came to a networking event a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, you were representing it.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I did
I met him and I was hoping to sort of like get started, like film some sketches. I've written loads of sketches, but they didn't really go anywhere because they were like touring the country doing stand-up. But yeah, it's just really hard. I just can't really find anyone to actually. All I want to do is just go get a camera, film it in the streets of Manchester, and just put it on YouTube because I've got all these sketches. But there just doesn't seem to be any inroad into that way.
Just do it. So, just seriously, just keep.
Buy my own camera.
But yeah. Or find someone you can borrow one off, or just do it. Nick one.
Yeah.
There are
Nick a camera.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are quite small now. They're quite easy to.
You can get a decent flip for about 50, 60 pounds, say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there is a good community of sort of writers, performers, actors, stand-ups in Manchester who are keen to do stuff. And like, for example, you can go on the Manchester Comedy Forum, which is just manchestercomedyforum.co.uk, I think. And if you're making a film, maybe just put a post on there and say that you want a particular, say you've got a load of roles for a particular film. Put that info on there, and I'm sure you'll get people getting in touch because people want to do stuff. So you just have to find the ways of contacting people, and it's much easier now that we've got all those resources.
Yeah.
The corner house.
At the corner house, yeah.
Is there a website? Just go in analog. I like it. Go in, walk, for God's sake, walk.
Go in there for the programme.
Okay, excellent.
And look on the walls.
So they have regular filmmaking workshops.
Comedy sketch classes every Saturday.
Every Saturday?
12 weeks.
Why don't
They have
we know about
multimedia
this?
stuff sometimes.
Excellent. Is that going now?
Yeah, it's a multimedia centre on Oxford Road. Films.
Isn't that brilliant? That's why we're here, for this. Okay, so I mean, maybe you all knew about that. That's great. So Cornerstone every Saturday.
No, not Cornerstone. That's homeless.
Oh, it is. Sorry, don't start having a joke
Corner
at
House.
the expense of the homeless. corner house.
You're not listening,
Sorry.
are you?
Sorry?
You're not listening.
Sorry, I just didn't quite hear what you said. Okay, excellent. There's some interesting information. We've got a gentleman there who's got his arm in the air. I hope it's a question.
Do any of you have any advice as to where would be a good place to send unsolicited scripts to? Which companies read unsolicited scripts?
A lot of companies don't these days. I mean, we do, but basically how it works is we'll get. I mean, I'll get several every week, or sometimes sort of several in a day, and I do what everyone was sort of saying about the layout and stuff. One of the reasons that's important is you'll be surprised how many that I have a quick look at and sometimes read more of. But then I'm only going to kind of get back in touch with people if I want to develop it. So there are companies. I mean, you can go on the sort of websites, and there are things like the BBC Writers' Room that you probably all know about. If you don't, the Writers' Room is a place to go where I think they do give feedback, don't they, on every script? No, they don't. No. Well, they're a bunch of pricks. But which they should. But that's the only way to do it, really. But you're always going to have a better chance, like David said, if you kind of get involved and start making stuff. Because, if I sort of click on a link to YouTube and see something that I think is quite funny, then I will follow it up. But it's harder and harder because you have to make choices on which scripts to develop, which is why you're always going to prioritise someone whose work you've already seen. So it's kind of getting it to that stage.
Are there too many people? I mean, generally, just generally, I mean, there are. We know there are too many people, but too many people that want to do comedy. Are you inundated? You think, just give it a rest. We've got enough. I don't want to dissuade anybody, but I'm just wondering, for my own self-interest, whether we've got just enough people. There's no barrier financially.
Absolutely. I mean, I've sort of known the comedy circuit for 20 years, and when 20 years ago, people going into comedy didn't know how to go about it. It was just a strange thing. You see comedians on stage, and I don't know how to do that. Now you can, there's hundreds of shows at Edinburgh, which is a way to go into it. There's hundreds of nights people doing sketch groups, and there's just getting the camera and doing it yourself.
Is there enough, talking of sketch, the stand-up circuit obviously prioritises